What's up, guys? I got the master here.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
You know, we're gonna go ahead and do a quick install video on my channel, but then you're gonna get a detailed video on truck stuff. So you gotta go check out truck stuff. He got the big boy trans pan. Dude, like, is this really worth it, man?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Why? Why is it worth it?
Okay, so Banks has again gone above and beyond doing their R&D to find the most efficient way that they can with a simple bolt-on to improve transmission cooling. Now let's talk about this for a minute. You'll see all of the nice beautiful fins on the outside. They're not there to just catch mud or bugs or rabbit guts or nothing like that. They are there for a reason, and they are to conduct heat away from the fluid when correlated to the fins on the inside of the pan. Now you'll also notice the surface is nice and smooth. It's not a sand cast, it's a die cast. That's what enables the surfaces to stay nice and smooth. Plus with the die cast, you also get the added benefit of being able to line up the interior fins to the exterior fins where they're in direct correlation to each other like that. What that does is allows the internal fins to absorb the heat from the fluid and conduct it straight to the external fins into atmosphere. When you pair that with the air grabber, this will force air as you're driving down the road to go right through the fins and help take the heat away from the external fins.
So it's like forced induction.
Yeah, except for your forces by how fast you drive. So if your transmission's overheating, drive faster. Don't do that. Your transmission's overheating, pull the hell over.
Just kidding.
Yeah. So here's what we got. We got this beautiful pan, and the reason why we use the Banks pans over any of the other competitors is because they are the best on the market, period.
100%.
There's a lot of people that have tried to copy. There's a lot of people that have tried other designs, like I'm not going to name the companies. If you want to see, you can go on the Banks website where he actually performs the tests of all of the other leading competitors to develop his pan, right? So just adding more fluid in there does not take care of the problem. You have to find a way to get that heat out. Now, some of the other pans out there have big ribs in the middle that are that wide, and they go into a diagonal and a diagonal, and it's like somebody had a fit while they were playing around with some CAD program or whatever. They don't work, and they don't allow the fluid to, we'll call it funnel, and this will make sense to you in just a second, because again, on the Banks pan, you get a very bottom mount drain pan, which is a magnetic plug. That's it right there. And if you notice, it's on the lowest point of the pan, where on factory, it's on the step up, which means that when you do drain that pan, you're only going to be able to get out like 60% of the fluid. You're still going to end up with like 3 quarts or whatever of fluid left in that pan. You're not getting an effective drain. So if you're going to do a drain and fill, you're not getting an effective drain on all that fluid. So with having a bottom mount plug on a smooth bottom pan, instead of having all these crosshatch grid patterns, it reminds me of that movie, The Labyrinth, right? Going through a maze. Well, that's what that fluid would have to do while it's trying to find its way to the drain plug. And in the process of that fluid doing that, it deposits the clutch material or any other contaminants into the bottom of the pan in those places that can't just drain out. So this is also going to help drain out all of the contaminants as well as the fluid. Help keep the inside of the pan cleaner when you're just doing a drain and fill transmission service. Nice. So let's talk about the pan again on another side. Right here, as you can see, I've already put the plug in. This is for doing a transmission temp sensor. Again, with the iDash and all of the attachments that you can get with the iDash, you can also add another sensor in there to measure your transmission temp sensor instead of just relying on what your factory PCM is reading through the factory trans temp sensor anyway. You also have right here is your oil level indicator. So when you're filling the transmission back up, you have a fill plug in the case up here. You pull this plug out right here, and as you're filling fluid into the case and the level gets up to this, it'll start running off and dribbling out of this plug hole. and that tells you that your transmission fluid level is up to par. So with that, you also get, for more hardware, all of your new bolts for bolting the trans pan back on, your air grabber spacers, and the hardware for attaching the air grabber to the pan. So we're going to get into it. We're going to drain the fluid out of this one and get to removing that pan, and we're going to show you just how much fluid is left in the factory pan when after you get done doing a drain on it. You're going to be surprised at how much fluid does not get drained out. Alrighty, so here we are on our backs because we're at the house, we're not at the shop, and we're going to drain this pan. Now you can see that this right here is the lowest part of the pan, right? Why did they put the drain plug up there? Anybody want to answer that for me? Anybody? Anyway, let's get this thing draining. So, there we go. Make sure that you have your drain plug or your drain pan. Make sure you got a rag because you're probably going to make a little bit of a mess.
Was it on there tight?
Huh?
Was it on there tight?
Yeah, I already cracked it loose.
Oh, okay.
And let's see if I can do this like a pro. And oh, this is gonna crack you guys up. Oh my gosh. Let's see. You're gonna like this. That's as fast as it's gonna go because that's how big the hole is.
Wow.
Absolutely terrible. So let's go have some lunch, and when we get back, maybe.
You want 5 guys?
No, I don't want 5 guys. I want 5 girls.
Oh.
Alrighty, so we're wrong. That plug is not a drain plug. It is exactly an oil level check plug because that's the standpipe on the other end of it. So that means the only way to get the oil out is to unbolt the pan and then let all of that oil drain out. What I'm doing right now is just cleaning up the reusable oil pan gasket in preparation of installing the Banks pan, which does have a drain plug on it. Yay, thank you, Gail.
And it's messy too.
It takes a lot to pull one of these out without ending up with trans fluid all down your driveway. We were able to do it, but you still make a little bit of a mess. Test fit. You do have to take quite a bit of care getting this off when you're coming down with that pan. You don't want to snag this gasket on nothing and put a bend in it. You don't want to risk anything that's going to compromise the sealing ability of that gasket going back on because, again, it's a reusable gasket, so we're going to reuse it.
The master said always put a new filter in, guys, so if you're doing this job, just go ahead and get that new filter. And yeah, there's that pesky valve body. Josh said the valve body's right there. We could have did that, guys, but I gotta do a video on next gen. They never got back to me, so I would have been able to get this done for you, but unfortunately, guys, I never got a response back, so I gotta pray this one holds up for another year or so, and then we'll probably do a transmission job in the future. New filter going in, and it came with like a little plastic piece too.
Yeah, it's your gasket drama.
Yeah, a little gasket is right. That's the old one right there. And 2 8mm.
Yep.
All right, guys, so this is pretty much the hardest part. It's just trying to get the fluid back in. So we got this cheap pump here. Josh said he's already got the light bulbs going off for next time he has to do this job.
Yeah, I'm gonna do another weed sprayer thing.
Yep. We're gonna switch off here in a second.
going to be going into recovery from surgery, so my hands are going to have to get a workout. Get ready for all that downtime.
Yeah, that's true. Did you guys see on that trans pan that came out of here, there was no drain plug? Now, Josh thought, because he's never done this before, he thought that on the factory pan that this was the drain. But no, that was to check the level. Now, you guys did see a lot of fluid did come out, so they overfilled my transmission, by the way, from the factory. We have to do a video on that. However, they didn't add a drain plug down below. So whenever you need to change your fluid, if you want to do it by yourself without going to the dealership, you're going to get messy. I would say the only way you could do that without making a huge mess is by putting your truck on the lift. Why they did that is to keep you from doing the work yourself. Now, every 30,000 miles, you're just doing the fluid, but every 60, you're probably doing the fluid and filter. With this pan, all I have to do is just pull off this scooper and then just drain the fluid. And then go have a coffee with my wife and come back and pull it down, and I won't get so messy. I just don't understand how the manufacturers would think that was a great idea. That is the biggest fail on the transmission design. Very, very flawed. Last thing I want to do is I want to address a comment that someone made on one of Gil Banks' videos, because it was actually a good question. He said, does this really work because of the skid plates and the cross member? So you guys know I now have the AEV skid plates, and I want to show you guys. If you zoom in, you can see the cross member, and right behind that cross member, it looks like that scooper sits low enough, because from this point of view, it looks like that cross member does sit lower than my skid plate does, okay? And yes, you still have a little bit of air that can flow through that thing. But even if I didn't show this to you, my transmission temp, in the past, if you've owned these trucks, if you actually monitor this, you don't even have to have the iDash Pro to do it, but GM does show you the transmission temp, right? 154, that's a number that you probably have noticed on that gauge, 154. Well, that number now in the same temperature is 138 degrees. I didn't see it get over 138 my last drive. It does work. And even if you didn't buy this for the benefits of the cooling and the extra fluid, blah, 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 the serviceability alone is worth it, guys. It's crazy how they built that trans pan from the factory. It just doesn't make sense. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Have a promo code down below if you would like to purchase this, save a little bit extra cash. I am enjoying these upgrades. The oil pan I had, it definitely lowered the temperatures. I will say it didn't lower them significantly, but it definitely lowered it like maybe 4 or 5 degrees for sure. But yeah, I plan on getting the rear diff cover next year, so I'll have that and we'll do an install video on that, so stay tuned. But be sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure bell notifications are on. See you guys soon.